Right, team. Very interesting week here with limited trades remaining, 6 rounds to go. Lots of decisions to make and do you hold trades? And that's what the People squad has actually done here. There was one trade thought, it was Moses to Cleary, but just didn't have enough funds, obviously, with 57 available. Both have a high break even, so unlikely unless one of them goes nuts. If Moses goes nuclear and gets 100, I suppose you're probably not looking to trade him by that point anyway, but we could likely go to Cleary then if he gets a 60 odd or something like that. But yeah, holding trades, probably the correct decision considering the squad. And we're going to be looping Sandon Smith tonight in their game against the Broncos. So yeah, unsure how that's going to go. But if he doesn't go well, then we're just going to go straight for Lemuelu in that squad. It's going to be how that's going to play out. And he'll switch with Tohu there, and we'll just play that. I think Val, it's a little bit hit and miss, and it's going to be hard to even loop considering we have a mid out. And we also have a hooker who's out this week in Graham. So we aren't really able to loop Val and Lem at the same time, considering they play the same game. So I think Lem's going to be the safest in that starting side, and he'll slot straight into that slot. But Moses, Hopgood, Preston, he's back, which is great. So strong side overall. Hines is captain. You got Garrick and Manu in there. Kiraz is probably our lowest one, but he comes up against an easy opponent this week, and he still scored well last week against Penrith. So yeah, not too worried about him. We've got Payne Haas, we've got Murray DeBellin up top. No Horsburgh is our main issue there, obviously. Got Fafita and Bateman in that edge position, which we're really excited about. Happy days there. So overall, really, it's just the only thing we're missing would be Cleary at this point. We have Fafita, we have Hines, we have Grant, we maybe a Tedesco or something like that in wing fullback could work well. A Dylan Edwards, those type of player for the run home. But overall, we've got that. We've got Moses as our, hopefully, like for like Cleary replacement, and then 50 plus guys on the interchange, and holding Tohu Harris I think is a good decision, and using him week to week is going to be great. So that's where we're at with the People squad for now. Pretty good year overall, 1162. I think holding the trades just likely is going to guarantee us into the top 1,000 by the end of the year. We've been hovering, but haven't been able to push to that point now. Okay, the fun team here in my own squad, and what we're looking at is actually 2 trades this week and some options that I will float around for you. I had Moses, I've been speaking about it throughout the week, so you should know what they are. Moses to come out, obviously with Jareem Buller as well, and Cam Murray comes in along with Ruben Garrick. So really nice upgrade in the centres. Obviously, Penasini, you can use him as a looper week to week. Likely this week I'm going to have to just play him because I have him and Hands. The other one I was floating with is obviously Hopgood instead of Moses. I could do that by about 2k. So let me know your thoughts on that one. If you would go Hopgood out or you would go Mitch Moses. When I look at that type of trade, I think Hopgood gives me a little bit more flexibility in my side across the mid and the edge if I was to get a couple of injuries. Like in a few weeks, obviously we have Murray on a bye. I've got Max King on a bye next week. So if I have a secondary injury in the mids, a 1 week thing, a suspension for 1 week, DeBellin's very close to one of those, for example, then I would be in trouble and I would have to bring in a mid. Whereas keeping Hopgood, I don't have to do that. Trading out Moses just means I still have lots of halves in the squad. Johnson's not playing this week, but I have Brendan Hands as cover as well. So that leaves me with 4 of those guys, which is awesome. Hines, Cleary are going to be the top dogs for the rest of the year. Hopefully they play every game. That's where we're at with that. So that were the 2 options, and it's why I lent just towards holding Hopgood there instead of Moses. I think Moses could probably score a couple extra points than him on average. Might have a 70-odd game in him, where Hopgood might just be a 55 each and every week kind of thing. And obviously the minutes for Hopgood is a slight worry. But RCG being out for another couple of weeks, I think just helps him with that. And both of them had the buy in round 27. So I think getting rid of one of them this week was the play, just to shore up the squad a little bit. Obviously, with Jesse Colquhoun out this week, that means I have 2 guys to loop, which is going to be very tough to be able to loop both of them, considering I think we're going to have to loop Penasini in this one, and then if he goes really poorly, I have to pick between them 2, unfortunately. If he goes really poorly, then I think Val will have to come in. And Brendan Hands having Joey Lustig there, it's not great. I doubt he's going to be making really big scores and making a lot of money going forward from here because Joey Lustig comes back from the Super League. So that's a frustrating one with Hands. He was becoming very, very comfortable as a playing player, unfortunately there. So next week we will lose Max King and Johnson will come straight back in. So hopefully no further injuries there. But if I do have any injuries from now, I did have Val as my cover for centre and wing fullback. Obviously Buller before this week, trading him out. But he's not one we want to be as a safe kind of bring in each and every week, right? So In this case, we have Penasini that can come into the centres very easily. Garrick could be moved down into wing fullbacks if we have any other issues, obviously, as well. So that's where we're at with cover. We have cover for every single position. We have multiple coverages for mid and edge, which is great. You see Fafita, Murray, King on the bench there, which is awesome. Half were covered. Hooker, we are covered with Brennan Hands until round 27, but Grant will be there, most likely and hopefully, with them trying to get like a top 4 spot. Centre, we're good now. Wing fullback, we're also good. So if we do happen to have any 1 week injuries or something like that, then we'll cover that. We've got rid of one of our Eels players, which helps us in round 17. And hopefully we've got Colquhoun and also Tafade, who are going to be playing in that round. Would be very, very nice, obviously. Cam Murray should be back after their bye. They'll want to hit out before the finals for sure. So he'll definitely be there. And everyone else should be fine. Like most of these players here are playing for final spots. Hines definitely will be. Cleary, he's probably only potential resting, I'd say, for round 27, but we'll get to that when we come to it, obviously. And these 2 trades now are just going to be used for injury replacement only. That is all. Injury or suspension to any of the top dogs, especially, because any of those 700k plus guys, we want to be getting their 50 plus score each and every week, as much as possible anyway. And that last round may be a bit of a disaster. But if we've done well up to that point, we're happy to lose a couple of ranks in that time. And if, as I said last week, a few people laughed at it. If anyone gets injured, let's hope it is Parramatta players or one more Parramatta player, because I can hold 2 into the last round. 3 might be a little bit tough, but we'll see what happens over the next few weeks there. The other option, though, is a little bit sad that I couldn't do. It would have got rid of 2 Eels players, and it would have been Mitch Moses and also Brennan Hands out. And I would have had to drop down, and I tried to do this. McInnes would have been the drop down. As well as Garrick, but unfortunately I'm 2k short for that one, so that's very, very frustrating. But yeah, sometimes it happens that way, right? Sometimes it's a perfect 0 salary remaining, and sometimes you miss out just. So that would have been the other option. I probably would have gone with that just because I think obviously getting rid of another Eels player would be good, but having Buller as kind of a looper week to week I think is going to be fine. So likely they have a tougher matchup this week, but he can score well against the tougher ones as well as the easier ones as well. You see last week they come up against an easier side in the Dragons, and he didn't score very well with the 28. So yeah, hopefully Hands can still play sort of 55, 60 minutes, considering Joe Lussick's just got here from England. So that's the play at the moment. I think Penasini can still score pretty well. When Moses is there, I expect a bounce back from that side, and they've got Cartwright playing really well on that edge, and I really think that Penasini can keep doing his work, and every second week I'd imagine a pretty good score in the 50s from him, and then the other weeks in the sort of 30s. So hopefully this is a 50-odd week, and we can just loop him easy as, and King can be my second worst player, basically, to go along with my potential centers that are going to be 40-odd to 50 guys as well. That's where we're at with the squad. Let me know your thoughts on that coming into this week. What trades are you making? Put them in the comments down below. I always read the comments, guys. Sometimes I don't get the chance to actually reply to them, but I am reading them. And so thank you for dropping them in there as well. And if anyone who's DMing me also. So good luck this week in round 22, guys. We have 6 rounds remaining. And I can't wait to see where you guys all end up in the ranks.